All right, all right. Welcome. Let me get the avatar up here real quick. There we go. So, as you guys know, I know it's just random startup, but I wanted to kind of change it now. I think I will start up my whole stream from now on like this, just starting it for a while at least. It's gonna be for a couple weeks, maybe not. I'm not really sure, but I wanted to just do that and see how things went. I wanted to just starting, I guess you could say. But the reason I wanted to also just randomly start as well is because I have a new version of myself, I guess you could say, that I wanted to show off, and just starting off is the best way I could think of right now. So this is, as you can see right here, this is how it looks right now, right? A little chibi version, chibi, everything like that. But now I've changed it, and I look like this. So now it's gonna be a bit different, I guess you could say, because as you can see, I can actually talk. I'm blinking. I'm, everything like that. And yeah, the just everything. I wanted to get a new version in general, the hairstyle, particularly the outfit, because it matches everything I planned for the future, I guess you could say. And if you want to start things off in a different way, you have to change a lot, right? Like, if you want a fresh start, what do you usually do? Most people take it to the extreme and just full on delete everything and just start all over, right? But some people just like, oh, I'm changing to look like this, or oh, I'm changing to look like that. I don't want to change myself, but I want to change a lot of things, I guess you could say, appearance wise. I guess I don't know how to explain it. Like, I want to take it step at a time, right? But also jump into it. I know I'm irregular in a lot of ways with the schedule. I guess you could say, because my schedule is irregular. It's because of my sleep, right? And I know I'm saying a lot. That's kind of weird. I just know that. Maybe it's because I've been away for so long, and that's another reason I just wanted to start it right now. Just like straight, just start, right? It's because I've been away so long. It feels different compared to how it used to be, which was, oh man, it's great to be on. Oh, it's different. No, it's funny enough. Like, some people actually mention it's actually, they get nervous, stuff like that. So I noticed the longer it's been, that has come back again in a way, and it's kind of weird. It's not that I'm nervous to get on per se once I'm on. It's that I'm nervous to press start again, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I'm back. I'll try to be back every day if I can. What should I say particularly about that? I guess you could say, oh, I didn't loop it. I need to loop it. That's right. How do I do that? There's a simple way to do that. Oh, there it is. Simple click of a button. Literally. But yeah, I plan to get a transition screen, I guess you could say. BRB start end. It's only gonna be one right now, but I wanted to show that off because it'll also go into the next one I'll get when I start playing games and stuff. When I get it, I'm gonna commission to have a controller and with this right here, but it's also gonna include 2 others as well that I'm like, including as well. I don't want to spoil a lot, so I'm just trying to be vague about it, kind of. But yeah, I really wanted to push forward into starting full on force right now here again after so long, because it's something I've been trying to do, something I wanted to do It's something, I guess you could say I've been planning to do, but for some reason I just haven't. It's a mix of reasons, I guess you could say. Lately, especially this whole month, it's been crazy. So first off, yeah, my PC just decided to die on me. Like, no joke, it just died on me. And yeah, not the best thing. I had a couple days with no computer at all, so I had to figure out what was wrong with it. It was just like starting and restarting all over again and again and again, and I had no idea what I could do about that. Luckily, a friend knew kind of what to do, and apparently Windows somehow got deleted. I have no idea, but yeah, I don't know how that happened, but yeah. So I made a mistake too of like, man, this isn't working. Maybe if I just format the drive, it'll help. No, that did not. That made it worse. I lost everything. So yeah. So I lost a lot of stuff. I lost a lot of membership, YouTuber, like for the girls from Hollow Live and stuff. Yeah, they're all gone. I forgot to back up a lot of stuff. For some reason, I don't back that stuff up because I'm just in my head, oh, I've never had that issue. I'm never gonna have that issue. Unfortunately, I finally had that issue after all these years, and I lost everything, including all my streaming settings and stuff like that. So yeah, I literally had to fix a lot of the stuff with the stream again. Yeah, I couldn't even start. Actually, I couldn't even start the stream. Like, I think one of the programs, it was messing up before that, maybe, I think it was. And so I could no longer stream when I wanted to stream, which is weird. So it was a lot of weird things happening before that, kind of. And I thought something was wrong with the browsers because they were taking up a lot more RAM and stuff like that. But I guess now they just take up a lot more RAM because now the RAM still stays the same the way it was before, even though I bought more RAM. Like, I literally bought more RAM to help with that. It wasn't a RAM issue. And so, yeah. Anyways, I had to fix the PC. I lost everything, I guess, again, like I said. And I had to reinstall Windows, which luckily I had some way of doing that. I didn't originally. I randomly figured out a way. And yeah, I reinstalled it, put in the code that I had, and from there, yeah, I just got my PC back, kind of luckily. But this kind of whole thing just reinforced the idea of I gotta upgrade. Like, not just RAM in general, but like, I need to upgrade everything. Like, I'm not joking when I say my PC is old. It's like 8 years or 8 to 10 years old, going right there between there. So yeah, it's not the best. And a lot of people like to say, oh, the 1080 is great. I have less than a 1080. I have a 1070. So yeah, that's even worse, right? For some people, right? So yeah, there's a lot that I have to upgrade. There's a lot. I have to upgrade the processor. No doubt, the CPU and stuff like that. I have to upgrade. That's why I was saying I need pretty much a new PC. Like, no joke. Everything kind of needs to be upgraded. But I have to upgrade my motherboard to even get anything better, which is why I say I just pretty much need a new PC. Like, no joke. The only thing I can say about this is the RAM, maybe. And depending on PC I get, you know, and the fans and stuff like that. That's about it, right? Everything else is kind of gonna be worthless because it's gonna be so outdated now compared to what I can get or could get. So yeah, I'll see about that. And there's still a couple more things I do have to fix. I think some of the alerts aren't properly working, but I might just, with all this upgrading and stuff for the stream I'm doing right now, like with this new avatar, I guess you could say, me, the new me, you guess you could say, I am planning to actually in the future get alerts, custom made alerts. It's gonna take a while, but we'll see how that goes, right? And then as well as finally the sub emote, I want to get that going as well. I think I have a bit of everything I want planned out, I guess you could say, in a sense. That's why I kind of want to start getting everything going, not just simple just blah blah blah, but I don't know, it's kind of, let me turn this down a little bit, I can't fully think, just a little bit, it's just a smidge. But yeah, there's just a bunch I have planned, I guess you could say, to upgrade the stream. I won't just have this black background, which is literally nothing on there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a bunch of things in the future, I guess you could say. The alerts, the screens, transition screens and all that. The what else? Future plans to upgrade the stream, like in the actual PC, I mean, so I can actually play a bunch of different other games as well, because I've noticed a lot more games are becoming restricted a little bit, just a couple so far, but just random little things here and there that need to be upgraded, right? So I'm gonna be looking into all that, and this stream will also go on the VOD channel, by the way. But I was gonna do multi-streaming for Twitch and YouTube. I know Twitch is kind of weird with that, because they don't want you to show the alerts, which is kind of weird in my opinion. It's not the alerts, actually. You know what it is? It's like the Twitch chat, like the chats on both of them mixed and stuff like that, I think, or like segregating them, like being two different ones or something like that. I don't know. They're a bit weird with that. Luckily, I don't actually show any of that really right now, like the actual chat. I don't do that. I'm kind of being cautious early on because I need more people to join into more streams, and I need an actual frequent moderator for stuff like that, you know what I mean? So there's also that, I guess you could say. But for now, I'll just continue on without stuff like that. Just me. I'm fine with myself so far. I need to go on and do a couple more things anyway. But what else is there? The other reason why it's been so long is because, believe it or not, we had a storm going off for a while, and that cut off our power for such a long time too. At least my power. My family got theirs back pretty quick. Medium quick. They got it a couple more days before me, I guess you could say. But I was not expecting that. I didn't realize that at all. Which is like, oh yeah, I'm just stuck in my own little world, I guess you could say. I don't really notice a lot of stuff like the weather and stuff until it starts raining outside or something. But yeah, that happened as well right after that, the PC incident. And then I think I might have gotten sick before that. I know a lot of people were getting sick back when there were multiple VTubers and stuff like that. They were all getting sick. I did get sick around the same time, I know that for sure. But that was way before any of this stuff started happening, right? But I think I got sick again a little bit before that. And it just all combined together in a weird way. I'm gonna say, when the power was out, whew, it was hot. I can't believe it. Like, it was super, super hot beyond belief. I was fine for like 2 days, I think it was, because I usually keep my room cool, and it just stayed cool for those 2 days, and it wasn't super hot outside either, so it's like, oh, perfect. But that third day was really crazy. Like, no joke, it was insane hot. Like, everybody was sweating. Apparently, like, I think I had my landlord come by the next day or whatever, and they were doing a bunch of little things here and there and stuff like that. And even he was saying how hot it was. Like he just went to the car and chilled in there with some AC, which is a smart idea. Smart idea. The neighbors, in fact, they didn't have a generator, and they were gone the whole day before, or that day, I believe it was, and they just bought themselves a generator, and I just heard it in the middle of the night, like, oh snap, they got a generator now. Which good for them, because it's no joke, that heat was insane. But somehow I managed. I didn't get a ton of sleep that night, but I was able to manage and cool off a little bit. I also, that same day, then what was it? The water was still on, so I took a shower and stuff too during that day. So cooled off a little bit, fanned myself off, and chilled, I guess you could say. There was nothing to do, kind of, so I kind of read a couple things, and that was about it. But yeah, yeah, I noticed all that stuff happening all at once. It was kind of weird because I didn't expect all that to happen, and then yeah, right when I wanted to literally start a stream, I couldn't start the stream because something was wrong with the programs and stuff. I couldn't start the because I couldn't do that, and then the PC crashed or whatever, and I had to redo all that, and then add on the storm combined with that. It was kind of weird because I had planned to commission this, which means I would have started this way earlier, but life is weird, right? So I literally couldn't commission it, and then I had to hold on to the money to be safe because I didn't know if I needed it during that time when everything was off, and all my food that I literally just bought, like no joke, just bought before the power went out, which was insane timing because I did not know about it until like literally the next day or something, I think it was, or maybe it was even the same day, I don't know. But I was like, wow, bad timing, right? All that food that I just bought, probably gonna go bad. Luckily, I was able to save a couple of it, move it when my family had their power back on, because it was still kind of cold in my fridge. I did not open them really at all, and luckily that kept everything cold, so I saved most of it. And yeah, it was just weird timing, right? And I finally got this done. Finally got what was it? It's already been almost a full month since I had literally yeah, it's just weird that all that happened. Full month now, pretty much, right? And here I am, I guess you could say, another full month. Insane, dude. But yeah, I'm planning next month to hopefully get the other batch of commission done, and we'll go from there for just adding. I'll just randomly just start it up with it, that way it's better. That way it's not just, I'll just have it. I think I'm just gonna do one, like I said, I'll have it as my main and my middle, like my BRB screen, my startup screen, and the end screen for now, because I don't know if I can commission 3 different ones at once, because it's more on the expensive side to do those, you know what I mean? So yeah, we'll go from there. Like I said, next month we'll start doing a couple things. And what else? I think that's it for like updating everything, and just kind of chit-chatting with that. But yeah, I wanted to just start, like I said, start streaming again. So we'll go from here and see how things go. Tomorrow I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try every day, even if it's short. I always say that. I know I do. I really do, and that's kind of bad of me to say, because I used to always say when I did say stuff like that, oh, I promise to do this 100%, you could guarantee I'm doing it, Now it's kind of weird because it's like, oh no, it's kind of, this doesn't happen as much. And I guess I also don't make promises much either. I kind of say things and then it happens or it doesn't, right? But I'm gonna, right here, right now, promise I'm gonna do my best to stream at least once every couple weeks. I'll try to do it every day, but I can't guarantee it because who knows? Maybe I'll get sick. Like I said, maybe something will happen that day and it'll just, delay me. But even if it's short, like I said, I'll try to get on. 30 minutes, perfect. I know that's super short, but yeah, I need to start getting into it, even if it's that short. What else? Let's say I want to try. I was gonna do this, especially a couple days ago. I was gonna try to do this right when I woke up, but I noticed a couple things. I can't do that because one, I have to actually wake up. Weirdly enough, right? But the other reason was because I'm always hungry and I can't grab anything to eat instantly. In fact, right now I was actually really hungry too. I haven't eaten all day. I had to make something and I just threw a couple things in there right there, but right when I thought it would take longer to defrost the stuff, right? It didn't take as long as I thought, in fact, which is kind of interesting. But maybe it was what I chose that just defrost it this quick, because usually it doesn't take this long, quick. It doesn't defrost this quickly, I guess you could say. Usually takes long, a couple hours, maybe 2-3 hours most. But this one was really quick, not even 30 minutes or so, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's strange. But yeah, I just decided right there, okay, I was gonna start it, this stream right there, which was 2.5 hours ago, but I didn't because, like I said, that was done. So I started just chopping it all up, putting it all in there, and I just put it in something like a crock pot, and which is what I usually actually do nowadays, because something simple, easy was not as simple and easy as I wanted to make it out to be, because I have to chop up everything, which takes a long time sometimes, for me at least, because of my energy, unfortunately, which is again reason for the irregular streams and the sleep schedule all combined together, weirdly enough, like I said. But yeah, I have to get something in my body, right? And with less money that I have at certain times, I can't just buy everything just randomly. Oh yeah, get it delivered. Not with this amount of money. But if I did, I would get something like that. Just order something real quick, and I would actually be able to do it while streaming, And hopefully in the future, maybe I could start doing that on certain days. Well, just hop on and be like, hey, I'm gonna just order me something instead of, fully cooking or all that and wasting a lot more time. Because believe it or not, it takes a couple hours for me to get everything done. Sometimes it takes me about an hour to 2 hours sometimes, because like I said, my energy, my fatigue level, unfortunately. But yeah, that's why I prefer to just order things if I can. But with the irregular time schedule, there's only so much I can order at this particular time in the middle of the night for me. And it may be limited, but I can still order something from a diner or something, or a fast food place that might be open. It's weird because over here where I am at nowadays, the fast foods aren't 24 hours. There's used to be I think Jack in the Box and all that was 24 hours, and even Burger King. Those aren't 24 hours over here, weirdly enough. They used to be in the other places I was at. Over here, it's they have a small gap, a 2-hour gap somewhere in between, around this time to about 5 or 6-ish, I want to say. And it just does not work sometimes because they're closed, unfortunately, which sucks. Because there are days where I am up around that time and I do have the money, and they're closed, unfortunately, again. And they're not what I want to eat sometimes, Do not want to eat it all the time. But yeah, I've had that situation, and yeah, it's unfortunate. Sometimes I do want to order something, you know, because I don't have the energy to do that, like cook a meal and stuff like that all the time. That's why I try when I can to literally cook meals that will last a couple days. Luckily, I did that. I don't want to eat the same thing over and over though. Sometimes I will do that for soups though. Soups are amazing. Soups, I love soups. I'll eat a soup any time of the day. Anytime, no doubt about that. But yeah, that's just a couple of reasons like that. You know what I was saying, anyways. But think again. I'll try. Really, I will try as best as I can to get on as many days as possible, because I do want to start going into it. I want to play a couple games. I'm not sure which ones. I know there are a bunch I have to actually do. Like, I want to go back into Resident Evil and start doing all the Resident Evils again, because the remakes, I have not played any remakes. I've been saving them. I want to right there get into the, you know, Zero. I think they just remastered it or something, right? The HD version or something, and just brought it to PC. But I want to play that again, because that's one of my favorites. Rebecca, amazing character in my opinion. They should have added her more and more games, but she hasn't been in. I think the only one was a more kind of couple years or 2 years or something like that, a year ago, where they added her in one of the animation, the movie animation one. I love that one because she's in it finally. You know, and it's been so long. Like I said, I like her as a character, and they haven't brought her back for so long. So it was good to see that movie, and that's why I want to play that game again first. Then we'll go into 1, the remastered version, then 2 and 3, and I think they did do 3 remastered as well, right? And then I'll go and do 4, 5, and just all the way up until the new one. That's what I want to do. Just a Resident Evil Saga series or something. Like, I'm not sure if I want to do a marathon per se. Maybe a certain day where I do specifically that game, and we just go from there. And all the other days I'll do a different game or something like that. I kind of want to do that with certain series, if that makes sense. Like, what is another series? I know the Outlast is only like 2 games. I do want to play that. I've kind of played a little bit of the first one, but not all of it. And then there's, is it The Witcher? That's another one I was saving for stream. Literally, I was saving that for stream. Haven't played it. Heard it's a good game. I've got like 1, 2, and 3. I think I got 1, 2, and 3, or maybe it's just 1 and 2. We'll see. But see, there's series like that I want to play, right? And I've been saving them because I want to do them specifically on stream. But because I'm not streaming, I'm not playing them. The other reason was because a bunch of people usually come in and, you know, they want me to play a game with them, which I don't like to refuse, like friends and stuff like that, you know. Oh, they want to play a game? Sure, let's play a game. But sometimes that's also stopping me from streaming sometimes too, because it's like anytime in my mind, for some weird reason, I think, oh, I should be free, so if they want me to play, I will be free to play. And I'm not streaming and saying, oh, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm streaming. It seems kind of weird, but if I make it more consistent that I'm streaming, it will be less of an issue, because I'll be able to, you know, say I'm doing that, and they won't be like, I'll just play on stream. I'll be like, no, I can't, I'm doing this already, and, you know, doing what I want to do. And that's what I need to do more of, because I said I was going to do that, and I kind of frequently, weirdly did it already a couple years ago, where I was watching a bunch of people, and I was like, I need to back off and just do my own thing, because I remember them even saying you should focus on yourself, and like, just in general, there are other people like, focus on yourself, you shouldn't worry about them per se, because they're fine now, you know. And I was like, they're right, I should do that. And a lot more people, I think, at that time, a couple years ago, said similar stuff. And it was like, I started backing off onto watching just nothing but people in general, like streams and stuff, and just kind of did my own thing at the time, kind of a little bit. And Same thing here, where it's like I want to do it again, where I can personally do whatever I want and refuse people when I want. And I know I've done that to a degree, and people kind of notice it a little bit, but I haven't done it to the full degree to where it's like I'm still doing what I want when I want. You know what I mean? Like, I want to play this game today. Nobody's gonna stop me. No, that's not what happens. I think, oh, I shouldn't play this game because what if somebody wants me to play? Because suddenly they're playing, like, a couple days over and over, they always ask, do you want to play a game? But then suddenly they stop for a couple days, and then they're not doing it anymore. And it's like, well, they didn't do it today. And then the next day, oh, they didn't do it again. And then the next day, I guess I'm free-ish, you know? Maybe I should do it that day. And then all of a sudden, they're asking that particular day or the next day, hey, you want to play this again? You know, like, come play this with us or something like that, you know what I mean? And, yeah. I needed to, get into the motion of doing either finding a time specifically to fully always do a certain amount on stream, and then maybe a certain day I could say to play with them or something like that. I don't know. But I need to figure stuff like that out. But the first thing is just full on, I need to do my own thing, right? And yeah. It's something I need to do. Yeah, I'm not sure how long this stream is gonna be. I didn't plan it to be particularly super long, you know, but we'll see how things go. Sorry, I'm drinking some water finally. But yeah, like I said, I don't know how long I'll be on today. I wanted to get on, show this off, and see where it goes from there. I do kind of want to watch a couple clips. Maybe, because I've been seeing that Asmin and all of them have clips. A couple of VTuber clips I had saved up, and I'm like, oh, I'll save that up, and then I never watched them because, yeah. Because, believe it or not, I put them in the watch list, and I was like, oh, I'll save it for stream. Excuse me. And when I do that, I never watch them. Because I'm never on again. Right? So, like I said, I'll get on, I'll save a couple things that maybe I want to watch. I'll watch a couple random clips, maybe, we might watch just a random meme stuff again. And just, yeah. We'll see how long. I'm not sure if my meal will be done by the time the stream ends. I think it's got a couple hours still left on it. To slow cook, you know what I mean? And, yeah, I might be checking it here and there if I do decide to stay on longer. So there'll be that. If I happen to pause it and just step away. But yeah, let's get into some videos, right? Let me go small real quick. Boo, 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 boo. Yeah. So this is where I'll be from now on. I like the left side, but if you notice, let me go back real quick. If you notice, I actually have a couple details on myself, like the mole right there next to the eye. If you can see it right there, it's right next there in the ear. The things like that. I don't know if you'll notice. My hair's braided and covering stuff like that. And then the crazy thing is, if you notice the book, it's different. I mentioned this before. My book is interchangeable with other books because I have more than one book. But this one has a bit of a meaning behind it. If you notice my eyes as well. I wanted it a little standoutish, but not too entirely similar to other people that have somewhat of a similar look to their eye. I noticed a lot more people have been doing this lately, and I want to kind of, when I upgrade completely to a full-on like live 2D and all that, I guess you could say, I want to do somewhat a faded version of the eye and more focus on the Cosmo aspect of it, like the actual purple and swirls and stuff inside of the eye and the stars sparkling inside it. You know what I mean? There's more I want inside it than just what it's showing. And I don't want the main one to be the focus as much. Kind of, but just like a hint of it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I want the darkness and the the cosmicness of the solar systems in there to stand out a little more, I guess you could say. But the book, yeah, the book you'll see in the future. I have that coming up with the rest of my stuff, and I'll mention that as well. But yeah, I thought I'd just kind of hint at stuff like that. But if you notice my robe, I like this pattern, and I really wanted this kind of a similar vibe to. I took inspiration from, I guess you could say, another person's stuff, which isn't actually a VTuber. It's from an anime and manga and stuff like that, and I kind of wanted it a little more different, but not entirely different. And so the color is the main thing that's different about it. It's hugely different. And then, as you noticed, a couple of things right here, like the tie and the bow and everything like that. And then I wanted to make sure I had my gloves, because I really want gloves. Really do. Fingerless, way more better, because I can actually touch and feel things. And yeah, I just thought all that was cool. And I wanted to kind of point out that little uniqueness to my eye right there, and all that next to my eye. But yeah, let me shrink back down real quick. There we go. And let me turn off the BGM. Well, no, let me get this started. Where is whatchamacallit? Where is it? Let me type this in real quick. I need to find the Asmus channel game. I don't know why I don't have it up. He's been talking about a bunch of different stuff, and I'm not sure which one to particularly. It's been so long, like I said, it's been so long. I've kind of been so behind on all this. Where is it? Where is it? Let's watch the Ubisoft one.
To see this happen has been.
Okay, give me a sec, because I've never. I know there's a lot of stuff going on with this Ubisoft stuff and all that, but yeah, we'll pause this real quick. Let me pause this real quick. There we go. And where is? Okay, perfect. It is up. Okay. So let's watch this. It's been a while, like I said. As you can see, that Yasuke, it's the new what is it, Assassin's Creed thing going on. There we go.
To see this happen has been amazing.
Today's an interesting one because today we're talking about Assassin's Creed,
I'm
Ubisoft,
blocking them.
historical revisionism, and the Japanese government.
Not great.
There's more, a lot more, but the hook is that a
Let's
wildly popular gaming
on.
franchise, that being Assassin's Creed, after a series of very unfortunate decisions, is actively being accused of cultural invasion. A problem that an official representative is now bringing in front of
About
the
halfway. I
Japanese
think it was halfway that
which is their parliamentary
fine,
government.
right?
His name?
That is crazy that it has escalated this much.
Oh yeah, it got
is
pretty
insane.
big, right?
Bro, it's a game? I know.
The representative is Satoshi Hamada.
I don't know how
and
loud
we'll get to
and
that part
not loud
later
it
on,
is,
but
but
the gist of
yeah.
it is that an entire historical narrative was crafted over the span of about 9 years, only to now be heavily disputed at the expense of a multi-billion-dollar franchise, which attempted to build its latest entry almost exclusively off the back of a highly suspect body of work. In essence, Ubisoft has made their next entry in the Assassin's Creed franchise the focal point of a brewing international scandal. Great job. This is where I have to go through a sort of narrative arc, so to speak, and give the underlying context.
I'm really kind of impressed at how bad they fucked this up.
Oh
and my
yeah.
favorite thing about this
I
is
am
the
too.
fact that they fucked this up by trying to not they wanted to project like a forward-thinking progressive view, and they did the exact opposite. That's my favorite thing about it.
The situation before expanding on how
it had the complete opposite effect.
Assassin's Creed is one of the top grossing video game franchises of all time.
Oh yeah,
it's on the top 3 or the top 5, mind you, and it pales in comparison to franchises like Pokemon or Mario.
Yeah,
really?
But having surpassed 200 million copies sold with $4.6 billion total revenue, it's one of the most successful entertainment properties on Earth with no signs of slowing down. Just to highlight that point, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the latest entry before Shadows, which
they were doing so good
Halo
too,
is still up there that
and then
high,
they
and
messed
the
it up
Halo
with
game
this
made
one,
was, Halo
like really
Reach.
bad.
Yeah, that's nuts.
We're talking about today.
It's actually
sold
insane
over
how
20
bad they
million
messed up.
separate copies, making it the highest grossing
Oh,
entry
the Valhalla
in the series
one, yep.
period.
People
As a
love
franchise,
that one, huh?
like it or not, personally being a diehard fan of the original trilogy with main character Ezio, Assassin's Creed is more successful now than ever before, making it a focal point in the video game landscape as Ubisoft progressively...
I do think Valhalla made the game a lot more mainstream. It did, because like I feel like, and this is even something I said, like I felt like Assassin's Creed games
there were some great
should not appeal
moments
to me
with
because
certain
like I
people.
don't really like stealth games a whole lot. So the fact that I wanted to play it is like, I don't know, like is this really Assassin's Creed anymore?
Yeah, but it's
increases their
still
marketing
nice.
And development budgets year after year.
And a couple people play it. It was nice.
Success while
they had some great moments with us.
Sure, they had their failures at times, but Assassin's Creed isn't one of them. And barring any sort of unexpected consequences, this latest entry, that being Shadows, would seem very likely to continue that trend.
It seemed like it,
for anyone who
but
isn't
not
already aware,
really.
Assassin's Creed Shadows is set in feudal Japan, which really
Then they
isn't
messed it up.
surprising at all after a game called Ghost of Tsushima basically copied the formula and sold almost 10 million copies over 4 years.
Yeah.
That game went crazy.
It did.
Like I didn't even realize how popular.
See, I have to play a
was.
lot of games. There's so many games I want to play.
As a PlayStation
So many games I have to
people
play.
have been asking for a game about feudal Japan. Ubisoft have progressively expanded their repertoire of locations for the franchise, and all things considered, it seems like a perfect time for the franchise to make that jump. However, if you're going to make a Japanese-themed game, you probably shouldn't piss off Japanese people, and that's where Ubisoft epically dropped the ball.
Oh,
in May of
they
2024,
fucked up
Ubisoft
huge.
unveiled the
I
official
seen some of
trailer for
the
game,
news
and
that
pretty much
people were saying about it.
afterward, things started to get a little bit
people
weird.
went crazy.
The story was set to feature 2 main protagonists, one male, one female, like before, but the male protagonist was determined to be Yasuke, who is, quote, the first black samurai and referred to elsewhere as the first foreign-born samurai as well. This is where the controversy starts, because
that's where it did
according to
start,
game director Charles Benoit conducted in
they should have just did
Empire,
fiction.
Quote, we're at the end of Sengoku
If they just did fiction with some truth, it would have been way different. Way different reaction.
History and accurate recreation of the world, and it's what players can expect with Assassin's Creed Shadows.
That right there,
real historical figures such as Oda Nobunaga.
That right there, see that?
That happened during that time.
That's where they
so
fucked
you're not
up.
only playing in feudal Japan,
They
but
messed
learning
up
about this
huge by
fantastic
doing
time
that.
period. Also,
remember what they said
by saying
the other
that
day about how it's the exact opposite. Goddamn wokeism. And again, right? It's like, who is the person who's saying this? Just your average white guy. That's what it is.
It might be, huh?
Giving the opportunity to the players to live not just one, but the 2 best fantasies of Japan, the samurai and the shinobi, end quote. On its face, that's pretty good. However, opinions rapidly took a turn for the worse when the true atmosphere of the game started taking shape, with examples like this cropping up from the gameplay trailer and getting plastered all over online messaging boards and social media.
The hip-hop, or the rap version of it, bro. It was actually insane. This right here was where they fucked up.
For anyone who didn't notice there, the background track is basically hip-hop infused Asian battle music.
Yep.
Absolutely does not match the time period, the atmosphere, or the subject matter for one particular way. I'll skip over the smaller stuff here and get right to the main issues, but the general consensus around this game began to rapidly sour, especially in mainland Japan. See, Yasuke, the main protagonist and the, quote, first African samurai, has rapidly ascended the rungs of popularity and recognition in the West, but not so much elsewhere in the world. Yasuke is the subject of a Netflix animated series now.
I did see that.
Multiple media mentions. There's
I gotta watch that.
Show about
I've been keeping up on a lot of anime, but that was
and
one of the ones that I had
in other video games as well.
not
Show about him
watched
even,
yet.
For 2026.
Weirdly enough.
And he also shows up in other video games as well, like a boss fight in Neo 2 called the Obsidian Samurai. But pretty much all of that recognition stems from a particular historian. A historian named Thomas Lockley.
This is.
I've heard about him too, and what happened to him. Yep,
This is really something special, man.
it is. I agree.
By
it
the
is.
way, another white guy, the whitest of white guys.
Oh, that's
with
funny.
The
It's true though.
of white guy names.
Very true
Thomas.
though. Very true.
This is where things get
Man.
pretty much every
too
modern
good.
Western mention of Yasuke tracks back directly in some capacity to Thomas Lockley. For the prior examples, I even gave myself the Smithsonian article referring to
Let's see what
Yasuke
they
as the
say.
first black samurai,
Mhm.
quotes Lockley
Mhm.
directly, referencing his book, and that very same book, released in
Shockingly
2019,
Caucasian.
is the basis for almost every modern depiction of Yasuke that I could even find.
Oh
Thomas
my God.
Lockley is the premier historian associated with Yasuke,
Mhm.
but the incredible popularity of Assassin's Creed and the anger at inaccurate
So it's
portrayal
all-
of Japanese feudal society.
It's all referring back to him.
Yeah.
It all goes back to this one guy. This is insane that
Yeah.
this has happened. And he sourced himself. Yes. He's
Yeah.
writing Wikipedia entries about himself under another name.
Yeah.
Kicked off a controversy that may undermine Lockley's entire body of work,
Let me
It
see
did.
something.
as it forces off to apologize
Oh,
and causes a
and that-
never-ending debate
okay, I messed
online
up
about
on
whether
that.
or
My
not
bad.
Yasuke was
Sorry
ever
about
even
that.
really a samurai. Just to get this out of the way right now, I don't personally have a stake in all of this. Assassin's Creed, to put it very bluntly, has never been tied to reality in my mind. And for a perfect example, we can look at Assassin's Creed 3, which conveniently took place in revolutionary America. Yeah, I don't actually think that the half Mohawk Indian assassin fought side by side with George Washington to recover an alien
Right.
object. I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit here and complain about historical
We didn't
accuracy
believe that.
Yeah.
when the entire franchise is about a secret league of athletically superpowered time travelers.
This is where
fighting
this
another
is where they
secret
fucked up
society
too.
No,
over
this is actually what happened.
extraterrestrial.
Yeah, this is what happened.
Frankly, the fact
Come
that
on,
Yasuke
Edson.
existed as a sort of blank slate historical
We didn't
character
expect
that
it to
was,
be
in fact, a
real,
person,
you know,
we
This is
but
real
don't know all
history,
that much
yeah.
about
it's
him.
what they
Kinda
started
makes him
saying
perfect
about
as a narrative blank
it actually
canvas,
being
especially
real.
when he existed in close proximity.
That's
to
where they
significant
messed
historical
up.
events. However, that's my personal opinion, and when it comes to Thomas Lockley, personal opinion
Okay,
goes
perfect. I got
entirely
my
out the
mute
window.
button.
Hopefully, everyone can follow along with this part. I'll do my best to make it as straightforward as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Yasuke, increasingly popular in Western media with growing recognition across entertainment properties,
Mhm.
didn't always hold the same level of recognition. Right now, if you go to his Wikipedia page, there's a pretty sizable entry, but back in 2014, the entry was just a tiny fraction of the size. Except, if you go to the edit history for his Wikipedia page, you
Yeah, it was pretty small.
Oh man. It's really kind of impressive that this has happened. Bro, why are you Americans so focused on race all the time? Hey, this I didn't do this. Don't put this on me. I didn't fucking write this.
Yep.
find something very interesting.
Yeah,
And that is a particular
yeah.
user named
That's all I can
Totori
say
Tom,
about
who
that.
has made sizable edits to the page, the sources, and the information contained within it.
Maybe
one of his
maybe
larger
Tom
edits,
is short
quote,
for Thomas.
This is the second in a series of edits I will carry out following a study of his life and times. All will be properly referenced when I get the chance, end quote.
right.
And if you look at the actual profile of Totori Tom, you see, quote, Totori Tom is Thomas Lockley, a faculty member at Nihon University College of Law, Tokyo, Japan. His interests are primarily Japanese history.
Wait, I
So-
didn't even know this. I thought this was just assumed that it was him.
Oh
But
my
it actually
goodness.
says that it was him?
So he's the one who has been updating the wiki of Yasuke.
Related, end quote. That may seem
What
I
the-
didn't know
for the
that.
moment, or insignificant rather, because any profile on Wikipedia can write anything it wants in the bio section. But Thomas Lockley,
So he
is
could have even
listed
made
on the
stuff
Nihon University
made up.
faculty page, and the account Totori Tom was adding his papers and his book as page sources before the work was
Wow.
even published. Here's where it gets really strange.
Okay, that
Speaking to
is
Time
weird.
magazine discussing the life of Yasuke in reference to the Netflix anime series, Lockley had this to say, quote, There's no record, but tradition holds it that Yasuke was the one who took Nobunaga's head to save it from the enemy.
Wait,
Continuing
what?
later, Yasuke, therefore,
There's
by
nowhere-
escaping with
what?
the head, could have been seen and has been seen as changing Japanese history. End quote.
And
That's no
that's
small
what
thing.
he said.
He acknowledges, in the briefest of ways possible, that there's no actual evidence, but goes on to say that
There's no
Yasuke
actual
has
evidence.
been seen as changing Japanese history. However,
No, that's not true. From what I know,
is
that's not even
amazing.
true, right? Maybe this is
Who
also
saw him?
what the Japanese knew.
Who
And we're
cares?
listening to this
What do you-
stuff
what do you
too.
disagree?
And
I mean,
that's
of course
also
it's,
why they were
it's just the
furious,
way
is
it
because
is.
they did more than just,
Oh
my
if you look at
God.
Make
the
up
Japanese
history.
version of his book, not the English version,
Okay,
it
let's
holds
see
an
that.
entirely different atmosphere.
Oh,
Please understand, I don't speak Japanese, nor could I
Yeah.
find someone who can translate for me at this particular time, so I used Google and various different transcription tools.
should have did
These are
Deep L.
highly imperfect,
Deep
but the
L is
differences
best.
here are so
A
profound,
lot of
I don't
people
see how
say
they could
that's
possibly fit
Deep L.
together based purely on
They say it's the
mistranslation
best
by
one.
Google, so
Or at least
here it is.
Japanese.
If you're
as far
capable
as I
of a
know.
better translation, please feel free to drop it down below in the comment section.
Sure.
Quote, according to a family claiming to be descendants of the Oda clan, Yasuke is said to have smuggled Nobunaga's head and sword out of Honaji Temple to prevent them from falling into enemy hands.
That
Further down, there are several
is different than
problems
what
with this
I
theory.
just heard on
First,
the wiki.
no source, whether Yasuke was involved or not, mentions where Nobunaga's head ended up or not. Froyce's letter is the only source that mentions Yasuke's participation in the battle, but it also makes no mention of Nobunaga's head.
So-
If Yasuke had brought the head back to Nanbanji, Froyce would have mentioned it. Second, escaping from the middle
Yeah,
of the
I
burning
feel like that'd be kind of a pretty. That'd be pretty noteworthy, you know?
Yeah, that would have been.
I mean, shit.
That really would have been.
He's making shit up. The Japanese website translates foreign language professor, but nothing about history. Well, he's
temple
writing
surrounded
about
by
history.
many enemy soldiers would have been extremely difficult without the added task of carrying, in addition to one's weapons,
Oh, is
an
it-
incredibly large and
oh.
unwieldy object, a human
Oh.
head. End quote. That is a
Wait,
very
is his
different
credentials
tone
not
than
even
what he
about
puts forward in
history?
Time
It's
magazine.
language?
When publishing for a Japanese audience, he expresses that
That's
it's
different as
incredibly
well.
unlikely to
Okay,
be true,
hold on.
and highlights
We
his
need to
own
figure
doubt
this
about
out.
the subject matter. But when talking to a Western audience, he says that Yasuke, quote, has been seen as changing Japanese history. Hopefully,
did not.
everyone can kind of see the problem. As if that's
Yep.
not
He's changing
If I looked at
the
this
wording
with
in
the
English.
most generous perspective that I possibly could, I could come to the conclusion that this is a quote that was done by him, and it could have been taken out of context with him saying that and then providing context afterwards that was just left out.
Maybe.
So I'm
Just
not
maybe. You're
sure
giving
if
them
I
the benefit
believe
of the doubt,
this-
though.
Yeah, lost in translation. Yeah, or I mean, no. The thing is, like, Time Magazine is going to say this because it's going to make it seem more extreme, right?
Oh, true.
Lost in
That is
translation?
true.
Yeah.
enough.
That is
and the
true.
tipping point, at least for me, on Lockley's own credibility.
Could not be the full
in
quote?
May
Yeah,
of
exactly.
2024, an article and interview in the Japan Times was
Mhm.
published pertaining to the controversy around whether or not
2020,
Yasuke was
yeah.
ever even a samurai
Mhm.
at all, which said, quote, most telling to Lockley, however,
Yeah.
is that no reputable Japanese historian has raised doubts about Yasuke's samurai bona fides. including
Yeah,
Sergeant
that's not
Kurino,
really.
who served as a fact checker
You know.
for African samurai and is one of the country's foremost experts on the 1582 Honoji
There's a
incident,
couple
for
people
which
that aren't
Yasuke was
really
believed to be present. End quote.
doubting
That's a very
that.
big deal. One of the country's foremost experts on the 1582
Mm-hmm.
Honoji incident, and he was a fact checker for Lockley's book
Mhm.
for the authenticity of Yasuke being a samurai with no disputes. That's pretty important.
Yeah, of course.
That is.
It's a lie.
What?
Sakajin Karino,
Then it was a
publicly
lie,
on
yeah.
Twitter, published a statement that read, quote, when the Japanese version of Nobunaga and Yasuke, Oda Publishing, based on the original work by Thomas
getting
Lockley,
crazy.
was published in 2017, the translator, Yoshiko Fuji, asked me to read it and give my opinion, so I gave a few opinions. It was just that, and it wasn't something as grand as a fact check.
So it wasn't a fact check. It was an opinion. So they misworded what he said. That's very big because it changes a lot.
The crazy thing to me about this is the fact that they're lying about these people because
Yep.
they're thinking to themselves, they're Japanese. They can't read what we're saying anyway.
Oh,
They're
no.
never going to call us out.
The Japanese have gotten good at knowing English,
is
and there are a
nuts,
couple
man.
that will
How do you
literally
do this?
translate for individuals from English
Oh
to
my
Japanese.
God.
I know this because Hollow
after
Live
which the
has
Japan
done it a
Times
lot.
updated their article,
You know?
removing the claim by Lockheed
A lot of people
that Sakujin
are
Kirino has
that are
served as a
fans and stuff like
fact-checker
that.
for
They do
African
fan
Samurai.
translations
One is
from
a fluke.
Japanese to
Two
English
is a
for
coincidence.
English
Three is
viewers
a
as
pattern.
well, which is
Thomas
very helpful,
Lockley
by the way.
appears to have been
Very helpful.
editing the
Love that.
Yasuke
Thank you.
Wikipedia page as far back as 2015, citing his own work, which had not even been published yet. He appears to be telling
That's
different
another thing, yeah.
versions.
Let's listen to that again.
It wasn't published yet.
Thomas Lockley appears to have been editing the Yasuke Wikipedia page as far back as 2015, citing his own
2015.
work,
That's pretty far.
which had not even been published yet. He
That's crazy. How do you
It
do
is.
that?
It is.
What they did with the Egyptians with Cleopatra? Yes.
Oh yeah, there was
appears
that
to be telling different
incident.
versions of historical events.
It's been so
at the
long, I
very
don't really
least
remember as
portraying them
much.
in
So
radically different ways, depending on his audience, Western versus Japanese. And he appears to have directly lied about the authenticity of his book, using an appeal to authority, as it's called, by claiming a certain expert fact-checked that work before the expert themselves had to come out and clarify that was not true, really.
Yep.
1 is a fluke, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern. Just in case for
A
anyone
pattern.
who's still on the fence,
There we go,
here
it's a
is
pattern.
Lockley in his own words discussing the book that he wrote. Shout out to Vast Establishment on Reddit for discovering this particular interview.
This new book of yours might read to many like a novel, but to my understanding, you're not a novelist?
No, I'm not. I did originally write an academic book of this, which was published in Japanese, and that was, I think, 2017. So the book which you would find in
2017.
front of you, African Samurai, is a much more readable version, less academic, far more narrative, though it's still based
More narrative.
on the exact factual history. It's just simply not full of references and other things like that.
Just to recap that, he says,
Huh.
Wait, so a group of white devs are hijacking and changing another country's culture and history based off of a white guy hijacking and changing another country's culture and history?
Kind of. Yes. In simple terms,
That is
yes.
exactly what's happening.
And
Yeah.
Desmond agrees. Yep. Okay, yeah.
The book, which
Simple
you find
terms,
in front
yes.
of you, is a much more readable
Which is
version,
crazy.
less academic, far more narrative, though still
That's how
based on
crazy
the
it is.
exact factual history. However, later on, when the host, Jing-Yi Lee, who's a PhD candidate cultural historian of 19th century Japan, go figure, questions the biography, referring to it as more historical fiction, he replies by just brushing it off immediately.
And as we talked about earlier, many may read this book as a novel because of, well, apart from the very specific historic background, there's also a lot of depictions of the characters' I guess inner development.
Inner
But
development.
its category on Amazon and Goodreads is biography.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I feel like it's more of a historical fiction. So how would you
Yeah.
define the nature of this?
It's getting called out.
More
even
of a
in the interview?
historical fiction.
Jesus.
Well, there's very, very little
Which is
there
fiction.
which is actually fiction. There are various scenes which were added because we knew that they might have happened. There's one scene where Yasuke is watching a hawking session, and we know that Nobunaga was almost obsessed by hawking and hunting with birds. So therefore, it's highly likely. I mean, we can say probably we're 99% sure that Yasuke would have seen that.
99%.
So we did make up the occasional scene just to give a little bit of atmosphere, if you like.
I should
So you
clarify
just made
here,
up a little
Thomas
bit of it.
Lockley,
Okay.
in the aftermath of this new scrutiny, seems to have
That's-
fully deleted all of his social media profiles.
Smart.
He has
Whoa.
distanced himself entirely from
That's
the
smart.
content.
That's what I would have done. I would have
Damn.
roached the fuck out. Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Oh
better.
shit! Oh no!
Yeah, you did all
They
this.
got me.
You better run.
Controversy, but the controversy is not
Oh,
done
man.
with him. Posted by Satoshi Hamada as a serving
He got
member of
called
the House of
out and
Councilors
everything,
in Japan,
and then
which
he
is the
deletes
upper
everything?
portion of the Diete.
He's
Though
running.
He seems to be more like a fringe candidate than anything else, rather than a central figure. Quote, "We're looking for your feedback. We were consulted by a French game company about a historical alteration of Japan. The content of the consultation is shared below in images. We have also quoted a post that appears to point out the problem with the game in question. We would like to hear your specific requests and opinions. Further down, thanks for the information about Assassin's Creed Shadows and Yasuke. Keep your research focused. Primary source information on Yasuke, Yasuke information in Thomas Lockley's book. Please request the National Diete Library to investigate this matter. Secretaries of Satoshi Hamada's office. End quote. There
Okay.
it is. Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed Shadows
Did you hear that?
has decided to focus a portion of their
Did you
newest
hear
title
that?
on a character named Yasuke. But Yasuke, despite many people vehemently claiming that he was in fact a samurai, is not the subject of historical consensus.
Yeah,
Experts
the
believe he was
samurai
merely
kind
a
of got cleared
retainer
up pretty
or a
quick.
servant or some form of lesser caste, while others, namely Thomas Lockley in particular, assert that he was not only a samurai but a legendary samurai that was, quote,
That's
See,
insane.
This is the reason why
That's
I
the
think
difference.
This blew up so much is that if they just had the guy in the story, I don't think anybody would have really complained about it. But the issue is that people
Yes,
like
nobody
would
would
have
have complained about
take
it.
it too far.
They went too
It's
far.
not
That's
enough
the
to have
issue.
the character in the game. You have to also say that they're a samurai. You also have to say that anybody who disagrees is like a racist. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
you also have to
They
say that
did
they
do
were in
some-
fact
a little
a
bit of that.
legendary samurai.
Oh, kind of a
Like,
lot of
it's just-
people
you
that were
can't-
crazy went
It's
into that.
not one step, it's like 4 or 5.
The main issue was, again,
been seen as
Crazy.
they
changing
made it seem
Japanese
like it was history,
Meanwhile,
and it was
Ubisoft,
factual,
presumably relying on
and it
his work
wasn't
as one of
factual.
the narrative pillars here, given that the game centers on Yasuke as an active samurai who participated in a lot of combat routinely, and Thomas Lockley is the only person pushing him forward as a hero.
And
That's
can
the
we
only
also
one.
Just
Crazy.
for a second, like the combat in this game doesn't really look that good.
True.
Like this
Damn.
looks like
Okay,
about
has it?
average, if not a little bit below that, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't think this looks super great.
From an academic perspective in Japanese
It's cool that it
history,
cut down the bamboo,
has now
though.
had to issue an apology.
Oh, yeah, that
It
is
reads,
cool.
Quote,
That
"We
is
have put
cool.
significant effort
There
into
it is.
ensuring an immersive and
And this is
respectful
the official
representation of
release
feudal Japan.
right there.
However,
See
our
that?
intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, as factual representations of history or
Yeah,
historical
that's
characters."
that right there is
And
where
yet
they.
This is the same company, once
See?
again referencing the Xbox GameWire interview, that said they are showing real historical figures.
Yes,
So you're not
right
only
there,
playing
that.
in feudal Japan, but
Right
also
there, that.
learning about this fantastic time period.
Right. And what better thing to learn from about history than fiction?
Yep. The main issue right there, as they said in their official release right there, I guess, is before that they were saying it was actual facts, actual history, actual representation of Japanese culture and, all that. And the Japanese got pissed off as well because they were like, what? That's not true. You're not doing that. In fact, the other issue was that they ripped off a couple of the actual like flags and stuff like that off of an actual like gun squad or something that was present day like official, and they like stole their logo symbol, and started using it in the game and stuff like that. Like literally, it was the exact same thing just in the game. And yeah, I think they officially the group went through and put up a complaint about that, and then all that other stuff, blah blah blah. There's more
Why
stuff like
would
that.
you
There's a
do
couple
that?
little
Surely
things like that
things
inside
if they're
there.
Telling fictional stories like this doesn't jive. To
Things
be
that were
perfectly clear,
stolen.
I can actually see why they chose
Like
a
the
narrative
Bible,
blank
yeah.
slate for the purpose of storytelling. I don't personally look at Assassin's Creed and think, "Where's the historical accuracy?" But
Yeah, I never
when
thought
you make
that.
a game about a certain
I actually think that it's
Like,
really cool.
you
The
can't say
idea
that-
is really cool that you take a historical context and you use it as a canvas to tell a really interesting story.
Yes, that's cool.
But I think that whenever you start changing the actual historical characters in a way that is inauthentic, then it could be problematic.
Yes, and
I think that's really
Ubisoft
what the
learned
issue
that.
is. And it's
just
also
now.
about why the change is happening. Is the change happening because
They're
this
learning
is
the
some
hard
sort
way.
of like a virtue signal, which is what I think this is, or is it because it makes the story better or more interesting?
Who knows?
You see what I'm saying? I think that's what the difference is.
Yeah, if they
culture,
just kept
which
it as
Assassin's
like
Creed
this
has
isn't
routinely done,
factual,
why
it would
would
have been
you
a
choose
different
the
story.
Only example of a samurai who isn't even agreed on as being a samurai as your main character, and then put a cringy
Great
hip-hop
question.
filter over that culture's music.
Uh,
Why would you make it so
yeah.
that when Assassin's Creed is finally set in Japan, you don't even play as a Japanese warrior half of the time? instead focusing on an outsider who brutally slaughters
True.
real Japanese samurai
All the other ones, they were
here's a
doing
really
that,
good
right?
question. If you were to consider every fighter in that time period, if you were to add up all of the fighters that were women and black guys, what percentage would you arrive at?
That's a good question,
I
actually.
bet probably 1 or 2%. If
Probably.
not 0.
When every single previous
Maybe,
Assassin's
yeah,
Creed
probably.
game focused on a character that actually related to the culture of origin. In the
True.
Revolutionary War, the assassin was half Mohawk. In the original
Half Mohawk.
trilogy, Ezio Auditore was Italian. In Valhalla, Ivor was a Viking, etc., etc.
And also, like, keep in mind that those characters that were the main characters in the stories in the previous games were not real people.
Yep. That's the other thing.
So
They
there's
weren't
a different
real people.
expectation. It's like whenever you play as Abraham
Like-
Lincoln, but
Yeah.
then you're fighting for the South in the Civil War.
Okay.
Well, hold up. That's a lot different than if you just played as a random Confederate soldier.
Yes.
Because
that is
Abraham
different.
Lincoln was kind of like against that shit. So obviously, when you take a character that already has a history, dubious or not, the expectation would be that the character probably would be closer to the individual's history.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Closer.
Why are you breaking that trend now? At the end of the day,
Yeah, I don't
One
understand
Hot Take
why they
Disaster
went
is the
so
story of a
extreme
historian
and
who
did
centered his
such a
entire body of
shift.
work on portraying a little-known
Like-
Japanese figure
like-
as
Like, even if they did black person, right? And they said it was a half black person, half Japanese, it would have made sense in the context, right? Because the other person was a female who was also Japanese, right? I'm assuming that's what it was anyway, right there, that character. But they could have did something like that and called it fiction and kept it fiction as it's always been. If they just did that, and there would have been no issue. It's again, the issue was all because they said it was historical, it was factual, it was real events, stuff like that, blah blah blah, and then they stole some people's stuff, which not sure what is going on fully with that, but
some sort of legendary hero, twisting his words all over the place depending on who was in the audience at that particular time. And Ubisoft went and made half of a AAA game about it. In response, scholars, critics, regular players, pretty much everybody online has been weighing in on whether or not his character was ever really a samurai, whether or not he
that
should
became
be
a
the
big
main
thing
focus
too.
of the game, and why Ubisoft might have made all of these creatively baffling decisions in the first place. But at the end of the day, I don't really have those answers. My opinion, Ubisoft wanted to score some diversity points. That's really just what it boils down
Guess
to.
so.
Yasuke happened to fit a pretty convenient narrative template while also scoring them those diversity points and allow them a real historical figure who stands out dramatically in feudal Japan for some of the wrong reasons, if you take this controversy at face value, and they use that as their starting point and unwittingly rope themselves into a culture war for all of the wrong reasons.
I think that's exactly what happened. I do. I think that is exactly what it was. Absolutely.
Yep.
At
Probably
the worst
so.
possible time, as people accuse each other of either rewriting history maliciously or being viciously racist, depending on which
Both.
side of the
They're
political
blamed
aisle
to
you're
both
on.
now.
That's it. That is the Yasuke controversy explained, and none of it will likely impact the game at all, which is almost certainly going to sell between 10 and 20 million copies or
I don't
more,
know.
becoming wildly successful regardless of what
I
we
think
talk
it
about
will
today.
impact it.
I think that whenever this game comes out, this will be probably not even in the top 5 or 10 problems with the game.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Everything that I've seen,
But there are
from
going to be people
Ubisoft
that are going to
recently
hold
has
off on
been
it.
aggressively
Like a
mediocre,
lot. They're going to wait for it to
and
go on
this
sale if they
game
even
was no
consider it.
different. I don't feel like there's anything in any of the gameplay that I saw that was very innovative, like at all. Everybody's acting like this is some kind of crazy, super successful, popular game. And I think
Yeah, they are.
that
I don't
might
know
be
why.
true, that the game
Why?
might sell well, but I think that it will do that, and by delivering a subpar experience, will make people less likely to buy the next one.
True.
The game is not for you? Really? Like, okay, well, what about Star Wars Outlaws? Is that
Yeah.
one not for me too? I
That
feel
one
like
looked
a
like
lot
it
of these
sucked.
games, like they just don't really look that appealing. They don't look that good. And hey,
It really
maybe-
did look like it
maybe I'm
sucked.
wrong. But as somebody who's watched and played a lot
Which
of
is a
action
shame.
combat games, a lot of action combat games, my perspective is that it's not so good. That's what I think. Did I start it? Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's really that good.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how the world works now. But now you know the story. If you want to support the channel, there's links down below. A special VPN deal. Everybody could use that for those interested. Patreon and locals if you support what I do and want to financially support future videos and more. But I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything and have a nice night.
A lot of people have been saying that. But I did expect it in this,
Yeah, I need to
like
play
this
that.
video.
I never did. Yeah, I thought this shit was pretty fucking funny, man.
How long do we have?
I think the reason why this
One more.
happened is
About a
because
minute.
they tried to push it so much.
Oh,
If
yeah.
Ubisoft didn't try to push this so much and people didn't focus on the samurai issue as much and they just said it was a historical character, then I don't think anybody would have gotten mad. But I think the reason why people push back against stuff like this so much, this is a great video, by the way. Make sure to give it a like. I've watched a lot of Upper Echelon videos. I totally fucking agree.
It's all
And I
their
feel
fault
like,
on how they managed
they
it
did
and how
do it
they,
for that reason, but there
came
could
about
be
it.
more reasoning to it, of course. But yeah, Legendary Samurai, it's like you're really dialing shit up in a way that you don't have to. Ubisoft games are like a buffet. You have to choose, but from quality is mid. A lot to choose from, but the quality's mid. Yeah, I just don't really... Like, I mean, the game definitely passes the baseline, right? It's not like it's a bad game.
All Assassin's Creed games have been good. And then they messed up here.
Certainly not a good game either.
What they've been saying with it, you know, like what Ubisoft and them have been
some
saying.
Twitter weirdo said that I was racist for disagreeing with the protagonist. I think that a lot of people... I think that there are probably a lot of people that are part of these like different groups, and whenever they see, you know,
Yeah, these people aren't even gonna play the game. Those are the people fighting it, I think.
Hip-hop, it's like, okay, I see what's going on here. Right, okay. Yeah, who does that? Ubisoft does that. That's the way it is.
Huh. Wow, okay. Let's pause that real quick. Let's see what else we have. But yeah.
Oh my god.
Ubisoft did that to themselves, I feel like, unfortunately. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Let's see, what else do we have? There's so much. Which one, though? That one's before this one. I'm not sure. I didn't watch this one. I don't even know this game, actually. Let's see.
So we were talking about live services the
Yep. All right, there we
other
go.
day, and how
Let's
the
see what we got
market
here.
is oversaturated, and new ideas seem to be lacking.
I've heard very
A lot
little
live
of this
services that we're
Concord.
seeing pushed out.
Let's see
Just
what
feel
they have
kind
to
of
say.
Uninspired, chasing trends. Just
It's because that's what they are. That's all they're doing, is they're just trying to do the same thing that everybody else did to make money. It's not because it's a better way to serve a video game experience. It's just a better way to make money. That's the only reason.
feels like they're trying to cash in rather than
It's really
kind of
annoying.
use the genre to create something genuinely innovative and something that pushes the genre to a new level and to new heights. It all just feels iterative instead of innovative. And so that's led to a situation where there's just too many live services out there right now. And
There are
the
a lot.
majority
There
of
are a
the
lot.
ones
You have
that
to be
attempt
very good
kinda
to,
get a piece of the pie
Yeah.
you know,
and tap into this
stay in
oversaturated
it.
market end up shutting down unceremoniously. I talked about how that happened to Exoprimal. I talked
that's
about,
true. Yep.
how Multiverses is well on its way towards a mass decline. That's gonna.
It was a nice game,
I
but
think
it
the
didn't have a
problem
long
of
term
why live service in
thing.
these games like
Like a long time lifespan.
the way that this like comes into play is because a lot of the times people see a popular trend, but they're not able to. So there's like a very popular, like I guess it's like a saying of like how do you describe, you know, it's like three blind men describing an elephant. And they're like describing, oh, it's really big, or it's the trunk, or the legs, right? And each person has a totally different view of like what the elephant is. I think that that's the problem with live service games, is that it's
I can see
blind
that.
people trying to identify why a live service game is popular, and then just trying to re-emulate that and assume it's the same thing. So
Yeah,
it was a
I can
drunk,
see
yeah,
that.
but they're blind, right? And so they don't really understand the reason. So, like, for example, multiverses, like, why would anybody want, like, why does the community, do people really want another Smash Brothers? I feel like they don't. This isn't really, like, who asked, who wanted this?
True.
But, like, if you see the success of Smash Brothers,
But I
or
mean,
you
maybe
see
they
the
wanted
success of
to
live service games,
try to try to
if
be
you look
one.
at this from an abstract perspective,
It's always weird
of,
because
like,
it's kind of
oh,
hard to
okay,
beat a
well,
game like
all
that,
these
right?
things
It's
are
like
the
trying to
things
beat
that are,
Pokemon.
what do you call it?
You just,
These
it's
are
a
the
hit or
things that
miss,
make
and
money,
most of them are
and we should
misses.
do them, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think that's what the issue is. It's that a lot of these people aren't motivated by trying to create a good product. They're motivated by trying to capitalize on a trend.
It's shut down, especially for a free-to-play game. These numbers are just not enough. Then we got
not.
Skull and Bones, which didn't break 1 million players after February 22nd, 2024. I don't know what those numbers look like now, but I don't imagine this is a game that's performing particularly well. Arcane Austin had to shut down Redfall, and the studio itself was shut down by Xbox.
Oh,
We've got
yeah.
Suicide Squad killed the Justice League.
Yeah, that one
which,
flopped.
is
I heard that
well
one
on its
flopped
way out,
horribly.
and things are
I thought
back
it was
now
already
where they're trying
gone.
to give this game away for free in the hopes that people come back. But you look at the player numbers, it's
not
dead.
going anywhere.
It's a dead game. Like, that's it. It's done.
Yeah, I don't see it coming back.
Like, they delayed this game because it was so bad. I mean, come on. It's fucking dead. What do you expect?
Low triple digits, nowhere near enough to sustain this live service. You've got Foam Stars, which crashed pretty quickly and lost 95% of its player base in a short amount of time. This game's on its
I don't even know what that game is.
Version of Splatoon.
Really? Oh, dang.
You're not going to be able to make a shitty version of an existing game. Like, I guess you could say Stumble Guys, right? Like, that's an example of working well. But, like, and that's the
I've never heard of that one
problem,
either. There's so many games I don't know,
somebody will
huh?
look for the needle in the haystack and say, let's just get another needle. Like, you're not going to do that. That's not the way it works. Like, you're not just going to randomly, okay, well, let's just let's recreate this 1 in 1,000 probability of occurring thing.
It's way out
It's
for
insane.
sure. Rocket Arena shut down earlier this year. You've got this shooter from Tencent called Synced, which I'd never even heard about before, but it shut down exactly a year after its launch. So on and so forth. You get the idea. And now it seems as though live services are saying, I've got one more in me, in the form of Concord, which is the PlayStation published live service. For those who don't know, PlayStation's trying to delve deep into making a bunch of live services. Too many.
They're doing a lot of them. I don't know why there's so many.
That number has been reduced to 6, but that's still too many.
Yeah, that's a lot. They need to do at least one, maybe a year or 2 years or something.
That is
what is this supposed to be?
Overwatch with hints of...
It's essentially Overwatch.
You know who else is doing something like Overwatch? I just watched it, Marvel. So they're competing with a field that's not a good field to go into.
And
there's a lot of people that don't like Overwatch right at the start.
It plays fine and, it does the thing, but it doesn't do anything to stand out either. And that's kind of what the general consensus has been. There's one article here.
Marvel looked pretty good, though.
Post
that one did look good. The recent one that
this
just came out.
This being a game that's a few years too late. Maybe it would have enticed folks. If
it would have never been good. It's never would have been good. Nobody would ever want to play this. Look at the characters. These characters are ugly and weird. Like, who the fuck would want to be this guy? This guy looks like me. This is awful.
I have seen some gameplay now that I'm thinking about it. Now that I'm looking at the characters,
like,
I did see some.
These are bland, boring. Like, what the fuck?
It seems kind of easy to play a couple of matches, but not really long term.
Some of the other hero shooters became standard, but now Concord is just coming in late to the party, and it's a game that like, nobody is really particularly interested in. And that's leading to a result that is less than ideal when you look at
it free to play
right now. So for those who don't know, Concord had a closed beta not too long ago.
That's what it was.
See right here, the numbers there are pretty paltry, but you could potentially
that's why they were
argue,
playing
well,
it.
You have to pre-order the game to access the closed beta.
You have to so you have to buy it.
Then,
I don't think people are going to play this at all.
If it was a good game, the people that pre-ordered it and liked it would have said to everybody else, hey, you should try this game out. It's really good. Total bullshit.
Despite this being closed beta, the numbers were so abysmal that you have to wonder how many people actually pre-order this game. But the real test lies in what is now the open beta. The numbers that we're seeing right here represented are those of the open beta. Keep in mind, that Concord is going to be $40 when it launches.
What?
And so if the free trial, if you
This-
will,
nobody's
play
playing
for
this.
free, how many people do you think are going to play it if they have to spend money?
Yeah, there's
of this
not a
game
lot of people that are
can't
gonna play
draw in
this.
An audience.
Yeah.
Can you imagine this game doing any sort of major moves and making pushing a lot of units and being a financial success when it launches? So the numbers in the open beta look as follows. It peaked at a mere 2,388 players.
Oof.
And we are seeing the beta still run, and in that time, the 24-hour peak sits in the average of roughly like 1,500, 1,600 players.
It's dying,
This is a minuscule
unfortunately.
number of players
Yeah.
for a game that is this major AAA live service. That's
if the game releases and it has any degree of success like this, everybody in this studio is going to be fired and it's going to be shut down.
Really?
That's just what's going to happen. You can't recover
Really?
from something like this. This is literally like
this an-
tens of millions of
What
dollars.
company? Oh,
lost.
this is actually a
That's-
Sony
you
game.
can't-
That's right.
Like it's Jover. It is.
Right? What they said? Yeah,
Sony is
PlayStation.
pushing significantly.
Yeah,
That
they
is
they're
free
gonna do
to
some
access
cuts. I
right now.
think.
You know, I've seen other.
Like if I was working there, I would start immediately looking for a new job right now because like there's no way that they're going to be able to recover the game because they can't change the way the characters look because in changing the way the characters
Also,
look,
is it
that's
specifically
capitulating to people
PlayStation
that are considered
exclusive?
racist or sexist, so they can't do
That's
that.
another thing.
They can't change their image, and even if they do, people will think that they're fake for it. The gameplay is bad. You can't. It's dead. Like I don't think that there is any path to success.
betas or early access
Yeah,
periods
that's
where
it.
the game is free. And hell, I've seen even some early access periods where they charge money for it, where the numbers have been significantly higher than this, indicating that
Is the game DEI heavy? I think the DEI stuff is like, I think that's like the super viral part of it, that people see this and they immediately like have a negative opinion of it.
Mhm.
It's like when you see a robot that has pronouns and like the pronouns of every character are on
Oh
the character's select
yes,
screen.
I did.
Yeah,
I remember
absolutely,
that.
This plays a factor. 100%
It
it
did.
does. And I think that people are vastly understating how big of a factor
Really
it is
does
because
play a
of how
factor.
fed up people are with that stuff. They are
People did
massively
not like
fucking
that. I
fed up.
remember
It's
seeing
so
that
fucking
trending
annoying.
for a little bit.
And you can see this all over Twitter, all over social media. It's everywhere. People are totally fed up with this. Like body type 1 and 2, get the fuck out of here. Like it's so ridiculous. But the truth is that these companies are still doing it. And if they change, they can't change because of the industry. Because the industry pushes everybody to do this. So if they change, that will end up making them the enemy. They're not going to do it. Elden Ring has type 1 and type 2, type A and B. I know it's stupid there too. It's like bad reviews push people away for it. The game needs like a masterpiece to compensate. Yeah, exactly. Why is it stupid? Who cares? A lot of people do.
Yeah, a lot of people actually
enough
do.
people for the game not to be successful. I think that if this game was full of really hot anime girls that looked like Widowmaker and Mercy
Crazy
and
enough.
Diva, I bet there would be more
There
people
would
playing
be.
it. I do. I
Funny
think it's that
enough,
simple.
yeah,
I think
there
there'd be a
actually
lot
would
more
be.
people playing
A lot
it.
of
There's some
people really
semblance of
like
excitement.
certain
There's some
games that
semblance
did
of
that
hype
already because
for
there
the
hasn't
title.
been
But
any
in the case
really.
of Concord,
There's very
I don't
few.
know if it's
A lot
just
of them
a
are
case
gacha
people not
games
knowing
too,
that this
if
game
they are.
exists, or them knowing that it exists but being so uninterested by it that they decided to skip it. But these numbers are indicative of a game that I think will kind of be dead on arrival.
It's already
and keep
dead.
in mind that
Yeah.
Concord is going to have to compete
It's
with the
stillborn.
likes of Overwatch 2, which despite all the criticism surrounding it,
Yeah,
it still
Overwatch
gets
2
tons of
did
players
have a
which
bad
still
start.
This is
Well, it
on
had a good
Steam,
start and bad
right?
start.
I would assume that Battle.net is probably
Mixed.
10x this. You know,
People
if
wanted
not
the
more.
original
Of
still.
course, people are going to be playing Overwatch because Overwatch is a good game.
That's
24-hour
questionable.
peaks in the
I like it, but
50-some thousand
a lot of people don't.
players.
And Overwatch plays better.
But I also
than
don't play it
Concord
seriously.
does. Like just watching Overwatch, it plays 1,000 times better than Concord. It was a good game. What I mean is that like you can think that the balancing for the game is bad, but the nuts and bolts of the game of like how
Sure,
your character
they do need
interacts
to
with
fix a lot of
things,
the balancing on
the balance is,
Overwatch.
yeah, the balance is dog shit. Maybe the game modes are dog shit, but the actual gameplay, the way that like Reaper like fucking die, and it kills everybody around him, that plays really well. You get the chain with Roadhog, that plays really well. That's what matters.
This is just Steam, by the way. We probably are seeing much greater numbers if we
Concord
combine
doesn't have
Steam
that.
numbers with the Battle.net numbers.
Sure, it doesn't. It
Destiny
just like
2
feels
is
like
still seeing, you
a
know,
lot of them are
80,000
just
players
overpowered
every
or
day, 70,
underpowered.
80,000 roughly
Somehow
there.
Destiny is still growing.
Somebody
Really?
even
I think
highlighted
it's because
the
it's free to
rather
play.
sad
They did
fact
go
that
free to play.
Valve's unannounced
A lot of their
game,
stuff is free to play,
Deadlock,
like the
has
main
more players
section
than
of the
Concord.
game and
I've
stuff
never
like that,
even
and certain
heard
content is
about
free.
Deadlock until I
Maybe
looked
they
into
should
this
swap
news.
names.
And yeah, looking at the numbers here, it has a higher all-time peak number
Man.
than freaking Concord, which is a game that is a couple weeks away. It comes out
Yeah.
later in
Dang,
August, and the numbers here for open beta, this is a really bad sign, ladies and gentlemen. Like, no,
It's over. It's over. Like, the people that work at this company, like, again, get the life rafts out right now. Start looking for another job. Put in your applications. Take this off of your resume as soon as you can and pretend like it never happened.
service.
Nobody
can't
wants to play ugly characters. Yeah, exactly. It's not like, it's not even a question. Like, I'm amazed. Like, it's just, I'm actually really glad this happened because it proves, again, I'm being validated. I'm being vindicated. Like, okay, great. Now I'm right. There it is.
sustain itself with these kinds of numbers, and if the free access period is getting such low numbers, I don't know if the final release will see numbers that will be able to sustain
Yeah,
Concord
the
and
final
not
release
have
is
I know
not
if
gonna
it
stay
will.
very
It
long.
won't.
suffer the same fate as the likes of Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, or, you know, Marvel's Avengers, you name it. And keep in mind that even if Concord gets 10 times the players at launch,
Yeah.
it's still going to be in a dangerous all-time peak range where it might peter out and die off. Like, even if we...
Well, let's put it into perspective. I'm going to bring out a game and nobody's going to want to see this.
Okay, okay. New World.
Oh
Ah,
my God. It's actually not even on the search terms.
dang. It's that low,
All the way
huh?
down here.
He likes this game too.
New
Aspen liked
World.
it. And then it's dead-ish.
Is higher than Concord. Twice as many players. And
True.
that's, guys, keep in mind, that's twice as many players for a 24-hour peak. Concord, that's their all-time peak. All-time peak of 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
And again, having 2,000 concurrent players for a small game is really respectable in a lot of cases.
Small game.
But Concord
Remember
is
this.
a massive marketed game that PlayStation put as a flagship product
Yeah.
for their trade show.
Yeah.
That is insane.
multiply this
Big
all-time
difference.
peak by 10,
Mhm.
it's not as high as Marvel's Avengers all-time peak of 31,165 players. And Marvel's
Oh.
Avengers is a game that eventually petered out
That's a
and
different one
died
too,
off.
huh?
So if
160
Concord can't
people.
even break past Marvel's Avengers numbers, even if you know, if it gets 10 times the players at launch, which again costs $40 compared to this free-to-access open beta, then I don't know that Concord can survive in the long term. I'm even wondering if it can reach the all-time peaks of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which peaked at a rather abysmal 13,000.
I think it will probably
Dang,
peak
he
at
said
like maybe
abysmal.
20,000 people playing it at the beginning. That's what I would kind of assume. But for in a general sense, yeah, no, this game's done. It's cooked.
Dang. That
It sucks
bad, huh?
because even PlayStation's monthly pass is releasing garbage as well. Yeah, I know.
459 players, and
Dang.
its kind of average player
PlayStation's
base
been
was not
really
particularly high
That'll peak
throughout
at
its
7.
Bad
lifespan,
lately,
which
huh?
is just not great
Been having
numbers
no
for
luck.
a high-budget AAA game.
Yeah, they're done.
I don't know that Concord is quite as high budget as Suicide Squad Kill the Justice
It's
League.
probably not.
But it is a game that the folks at Sony and PlayStation and the studio that's working on it will have to maintain consistently. It is going to be an investment that doesn't feel like it's going to pay itself back. And the issue lies in the fact that Concord is just kind of generic. It's not that it's all bad. Again, like it's not
just an
an
average
awful game. And there are some good attributes to it. I think visually, in terms of fidelity, there's they got some good.
It's in a world of Unreal Engine 5, the visuals.
If we're
in this
comparing
game
it to
are not
Unreal
impressive
Engine
in any
5,
capacity.
yes. I
Just
know
not.
what it means. Because I
Like,
did see what they could do with
it's,
that.
Like,
It's
it
crazy
has
what they could do with that.
decent graphics, sure, but like, who cares?
Stuff going on in terms of the graphics and some of the art style elements going on here. And the individual heroes. A lot of them do have some unique play styles and powers, and the gameplay is solid. And it's not a game that feels bad to play or anything. You can have some fun with it. It's just games of this genre out there that are more established, that are better, that have a better player base, that are more fleshed out, that have been at it for longer and are more feature.
I think that's another big reason is that, like, why would somebody stop playing Overwatch to play this instead?
That's kind of true, yeah. A lot of people that are already in certain games that are similar aren't going to switch.
Why would you choose to, like, for example, if somebody's selling the identical type of hot dog and one of them is $1 and the other one is $2, everybody is going to be buying the $1 hot dogs, assuming all other things are equal. So if you are if the only purpose you serve is to be an inferior alternative to your competition, that's a pretty bad value proposition. It is. That's really bad. Concord equals Overwatch 0.2. Yeah.
Complete. Concord, especially for its $40 asking price, just doesn't feel like
they needed this to be free to play to appeal to more people.
Like, look at these characters. This is so boring. This is garbage.
But then they wouldn't have been able to, I guess, make their money back.
What the fuck is this? This is trash. Like, compare this to Lucio, Bastion, Soldier 76, Winston, and I don't know, like Pharah or Widowmaker.
They don't really have a lot of unique weapons either. The only person is that one guy in the front with his flaming crossbow or whatever.
Just garbage.
The others just have like a minigun, gun, stuff like that. Like, it's not that different.
Yeah, that's another good point too.
For Concord to charge that premium price point of $40, it really has to go above and beyond to be able to.
They did make it free to play Overwatch 2.
That's out there. And
watch the new Overwatch 2 hero. I'll look at it after this.
I think that's a big mistake for them to not go free to play with this, to charge $40.
Yep. That's the big thing. It's not even free to play.
What's being presented right now, which is not a whole lot.
I kind of felt
compared to what other games of this genre are doing. Now we don't.
$40 is a lot for a game that's similar to Overwatch.
Coming out on both PC.
Somebody says, "Do I only do hyperbole now?" Let's see. What about this is a hyperbole?
Uh-oh.
No, do it. It's fine. Right. Here's the thing. They are awful. And if they weren't awful, people would be playing the game. That's the truth. And there's nothing that's going to, like, it doesn't matter, like, what, little things that your roaches out when they get pulled up. Yeah,
oof.
Full shit,
Got banned.
Talking shit, being annoying.
Dang.
Yeah, 100% chat. Yeah, it's so annoying, bro. Like, deserved. Yeah, it's like talking shit and then not even explaining it, bro. Like, you don't even have anything to say. You're just talking shit.
And PlayStation, and by some miracle, it may very well be that the level of engagement of this game on PlayStation is significantly higher. But what I usually discover...
Why would that happen?
Is that if a game is performing well on one platform, it'll perform well on the other platform as well. If people want to...
What a surprise. A sample size is indicative of performance.
But again,
miracle.
Is this
Absolutely,
even on...
He's completely right.
Oh wait, this is on Steam charts.
People that are saying
so it has to be past... So is it PC and PlayStation?
They will play it across both platforms. You've got
both platforms. Okay.
And engage with the game.
So it's Steam and PlayStation then.
Such abysmal numbers during
but it's not
beta
Xbox, right? I'm guessing.
Even on PlayStation, it's maybe has higher numbers, but
and here's another thing: is that there's another big factor that needs to be taken into consideration, which is video game entropy, and that is when a game is perceived to be dead, it dies, and then when a game begins to die, that begets a faster death cycle, because now it's a dying game. So people don't want to invest time into the game anymore. So now people are leaving even faster than if the game were to just carry out its natural life cycle. Like, it's the death spiral, right? And as soon as it starts spiraling, it just gets faster and faster and faster. And you saw that with New World too. That exact, New World entropy as well, right? This is what happens. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So because people are talking about the game being dead, it kills the game. Because
that's
nobody
true.
wants to play a game that has a
That's true.
reputation for being dead. You reckon if it was free for like Overwatch, it would be considered a great game? No, absolutely not. Because if it was such a great game, then you'd see people playing it whenever it was free right now, which they're not.
Not by
Yeah,
a whole
free to play
lot,
would have made
not
it
enough
just
to make
last a little
difference in
longer. I
terms of
think
its
like
future prospects as a long-term, as a viable
just
live
a little longer.
service that can attract enough players and have them spend enough money for this to be a worthwhile venture. So this, I would not be shocked.
Yeah.
If Concord was dead on arrival, I would not be shocked if its initial player
Dang,
number
dead on
indicated
arrival.
a live service that Sony and PlayStation will not want to support for more than a year, maybe 2 tops if it gets lucky. But who knows? We have seen plenty of comebacks and plot twists happen in the past, and by some miracle, they can make that happen.
I don't think that they can do it because a lot of their image problem has to do with the way the characters are designed, and in changing the characters to the way that people want them to be designed, it would be betraying the ideals that are held very sacred in the gaming industry, with like not objectifying women, not having overrepresentation of like any it's like no white guys in the game in the trailer. Like this is obviously
There
weird.
wasn't?
And it's like,
that is
guess
weird.
what? A lot of guys that play these games are probably white guys. Let's be fucking honest. So they're not going to do that. They're not going to add that because in doing that, they would be effectively giving credit to a group of people that are considered awful. Not white people, but the people that try to promote it and the people that try to push that kind of stuff and like, sexualization of women and all of that. Even though that's the reason why Overwatch is popular. The reason why I bet Overwatch porn is more popular than the game is now. But the truth is that everybody knows those characters, and you have girls cosplaying these characters. Nobody's going to want to cosplay something in Concord. It's insane. It's not even a question. So, and women like ass and titties, yeah, exactly. And so like they literally can't solve the problem that is going to make a lot of people go into the game and immediately distrust its authenticity. That's really what's going to happen.
With this game, great. But, as I said before, the oversaturation of this market is becoming harder and harder to deal with. The more you go in making a live service game with the mindset of like cashing in on a certain genre and a certain trend.
People say the problem doesn't have anything to do with representation. I think it does, actually. I think it absolutely does because like Overwatch did a really great job of adding in a character that everybody can see themselves in. Like if you're an older 38-year-old guy,
are you talking about Soldier or something?
Craft beer, Torbjorn.
Torbjorn.
If you are a like a teenage
I get that.
diva. If you're a hoe, Widowmaker.
What
if you're just like a hot girl, Mercy. If you're a edgy boy, you're playing Reaper. If you like katanas and fucking swords and stuff like that and dragons, Genji, right? If you're like, you like being Legolas or an archer standing back, then you're Hanzo. Like there are so many different
I get that.
Like archetypes that exist in
there's
Overwatch
a couple of different ones,
very, very well
there's
crafted.
Even robots, all kinds of stuff.
Crafted.
Yeah.
And I think that people can see themselves in the characters. Now, people might see themselves in the characters in Concord, but in a bad way, and be like, wow, she's fat just like I am. Oh, God. Oh, he's ugly just like me. Ugh. Why would anybody want to play that? It's that simple. I'm a black man, I play diva. Does that mean I'm actually a teenage girl? No, if that's what you're getting out of what I'm saying, then I really feel bad for you. But yes, absolutely having characters in a character shooter that people can see themselves in and identify as matter. Absolutely.
Less likely it is that you'll succeed at like only a few of those kind of break through. There are only so many gamers in the world. They only have so much time and money. We keep shoving in live services into the market and hoping that all of them will garner the kind of audience that Destiny, Fortnite,
somebody said
Apex
in chat,
Legends, what
Concord has 0 on Rule 34 and Overwatch has 1,000, 130,000 plus. Numbers don't lie. And that's what matters.
Whatever Overwatch does, that's just not a viable strategy. The expectation of infinite growth is absolute.
Yeah, it is. Somebody says, you think the game failed because of the art design of the characters? Really? I think it was a big factor. I do. Yeah. It wasn't the only reason, but it was a big factor. Absolutely.
Ridiculous and short-sighted, and the fact that even with this trend of so many live services dying off and being a huge waste of time and resources, despite all that, seeing Sony confirm, initially planning 12 live services by the end of March 2026 and saying that we'll just cut that down to six still being a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that they're planning 6 live services from one company within the span of 2 years, like, good luck on the money you're about to throw away. Maybe one of those will pop
really
off.
are
Maybe that's
gonna
what they're
spend a
riding
lot
on.
of money on that.
Back with that.
Pops off at the level that something like Fortnite does, then it'll pay itself back thousandfold. So maybe that's what they're betting on. That eventually
Maybe
they'll
they're
hit the
betting on
bullseye
that. Maybe,
after
but
investing
that's
too much money on
a
too many live
lot
services. Maybe one
to
of
bet
them
on.
will become the next Fortnite, the next Destiny, whatever, and pay dividends and make them a ton of money over the long term. But that's a risky proposition, and there's going to be a lot of wasted potential and a lot of likely layoffs as the devs get blamed for the failures of leadership and their mandates.
Oh yeah, they're done. Like,
yeah,
I think this is
unfortunate.
Like, with a game that's this big to have this big of a failure. This is a studio closure level failure. This is a you can't do this wrong 2 times in a row level failure. It's done.
For the kinds of games that they want to ship instead of letting the developers cook.
That's the sad part. You could say it's sad, but they're the ones that made the game. I mean, you shouldn't have done it. This is what happens.
What they should be cooking.
Dang.
But I suppose only time will tell how Concord will play out. At the end of the day, we don't know for sure. My prediction is, though, that Concord will not last very long at all. Like, I've seen this trend before. I've covered enough live services to know that unless there's a major miracle or crazy comeback that happens, which is the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, this
Concord,
is the exception.
It's doomed to
It's
repeat.
very rare.
It's done.
Or at the very least, that's one man.
Very rare.
Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts
Very,
and
very
opinions
rare.
are on Concord. Have you played the game, the beta? What do you think of it? And do you think it has the potential for long-term viability?
I have not played it. I've
Share your
seen
thoughts
people
in the
play it
comments
a little
below,
bit,
and to be
but
further updated on all
it's
things
not really
gaming
my
news,
thing.
reviews, and
Unless I was
discussions.
playing with
Stay
somebody and
tuned
somebody
right
wanted
here
to play,
on
I wouldn't play it.
Yeah. I'll see you guys next time.
Like, that's
Yo,
why I
yeah.
don't play
I
Overwatch
think
really,
that-
Welcome back.
because
I think
there's
is
nobody
no
there
way
that wants
So
to
we
can
were
play.
talking about live
There
service.
is no path to success for
It's
this
just one of
game.
those things. That's why I kind of
It's
want to
not
just go
gonna
on my
happen.
own again, like I said,
Like,
and just
kind
kinda do my own
link
thing.
You guys a video. This is
play more
I think
solo
that he's
games
totally right.
myself.
I feel like a lot of people are talking around the reasons why people don't like it. Like, for example, like the pronouns thing, etc., because it's not something that you're supposed to talk about or you're supposed to lend any credibility to. But I think that it plays a tremendous role, like a massive, huge, gigantic role, especially now whenever you're looking at, because a lot of the people that are seeing the game right now are people that are part of the online space. Like, sure, Concord and Sony will do marketing that will appeal to people that are outside of the gamer space when the game finally comes out, and those people won't have the previous messaging that shades their perspective of the game. However, until then, you're going to have mainly the way that people figure out this game and figure out about this game are people that are online talking about it. People should give them names. What's this here? The moment they see it, they even need to mention pronouns in the game. I just fucking had it. Well, this is my perspective, is that when I see that in a video game, I don't take the game as a authentic piece of art seriously anymore. I don't. Like, the immersion for the game is broken to me, because every time I see that, it reminds me of the fact that this game is a manifestation of some worldview that the developers have. It's basically like it's propaganda. It basically is, right? It's a political message. And to me, it's like, as soon as I see that, you don't have that escapism from the game anymore. And I think that, I mean, you could say every game has some sort of a message to it, but sometimes the messages are portrayed in a way that's like less patronizing and less annoying to me. So yeah. Starfield had pronouns, but who cares? The gameplay loop is why it sucked. Well, there's a lot of reasons, right? There's a ton of reasons why it could happen. But I'm just saying, like, that's one reason for me. You're in a bubble if you think the game is failing because of the pronouns thing. The game itself is just not good and it's not worth being $40. I think that at this point in the life cycle of the game, the pronouns, of course, it's not failing because of the pronouns. It's failing because of like 10 different things.
It's not failing because it's just
the bad
that,
character
yeah.
design, the fact that the
A
game
bunch
wasn't
of
really
random
very well
things.
marketed, the fact that the game
Yeah, I'd
is
never
pretty
even
much just
heard
worse
of it, really.
Overwatch. It's failing
Like,
because the character.
I had literally forgotten I'd watched
it
somebody
feels slow to
play it because,
you know, like for a while
you
you
know,
had to buy the game.
I didn't
to
know
get
that
into
the game was
beta,
called.
But like, you are on copium. You are on massive copium. If you think that a 2,000 player open beta for a game that was announced at Sony's State of Play is anything less than a colossal disappointment and a massive failure. This is the kind of stuff that investors like fucking have.
I didn't
nightmares
watch
about,
the
and
Sony
they wake
Play
up and
thing or whatever,
oh, God.
really. So,
I thought I was invested in Concord.
and if I did, that's how unforgettable it was, I guess.
Jesus, okay, it was just a dream. All right, we're fine. Same thing as yesterday, right? Same fucking thing. Check out the new Overwatch hero. Yeah, I'll look at that. But it's a factor, and it definitely is, because right now the only people that really know about Concord are the people that, like, because Sony hasn't marketed to a wide audience, really. They've only marketed towards, like, people that are invested in video game news on the internet. So
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
A proportion of those people that care about, like, more in-depth issues into the game than just, like, an average audience. That's why I said before, like, yeah, I'm sure it'll find an audience with people, you know, when it comes out with those larger, like, you know, like just a general audience. But will that general audience stay?
Yeah.
6-year clone of look at Steam charts for Paladins. 6-year old Overwatch clone that has hot girls. Paladins. I mean, yeah. how's that clone
Paladin's
doing?
still out? I didn't even
Paladins.
think that was out.
Yeah, I don't know anything
What?
about this game. Yeah, yeah. Even this game has more players than Concord does.
Dang.
It's nuts, man.
I thought
Epic
that game
wasn't
was
it? Yeah, even
gone.
that does. That's 5,000 people.
That's one of the reasons I never played it.
Pronoun sex of the character, that alone makes me not want to play the game.
Because when I
They hate
did
their
want to play it,
audience.
it
Yeah,
felt
I
like it
think
was
that's
gone
the way a
already. I
lot of
thought I
people see
heard it got
And I
discontinued,
think
or
that
maybe that
also,
was a
like,
different
that
game.
won't really be as true as the game reaches a larger and larger audience, because people won't care about it as much. But at this point in the life cycle of the game, then yes, it does matter a lot. Absolutely, it does. It's a big factor.
All right. Well then, interesting. All right, interesting. Interesting. Let's see. Click that off real quick. Wait, did I click that off? What did I? Oh, it's Dreamception now, isn't it? Yep. What the heck? Why is it doing that? That's weird. Let's see. What else do we have? So a trade. Nah. What is that? 15 minutes though. We can watch that next time. Maybe. Oh, this is actually one I did want to watch. Yes. I'm kind of curious. Should I watch this? You know what? I'm kind of like, okay, I'm kind of debating right now, you know? Should I keep staying on, or should I get off real, like, and hope that my meal is ready? That's the main thing. Kind of a hard choice. Really is a hard choice. Because, like I said, I wanted to start. You know what? Let's do this. I'll end it here, and I'll try to get on early tomorrow. That way, let me put on the music. At least there's nothing crazy going on right there, right? So, I'll go full screen too. So, tomorrow, I'm going to see exactly when I'll get on. I might just eat something quick and then get on, or I might just chill for a little bit and then get on. I'm not really sure. It all depends on when I'm getting up and if anybody's streaming that I enjoy usually, and just various different factors, right? It just varies from time to time. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. And for now, I'm gonna end it. I have literally nothing on here to switch to. Like I said, the stream has just been reset in general. I only have the basic stuff, which is this and a couple things like that. I'm not sure if the alert went off earlier. I will have to watch the VOD, I guess, and see about that, and see if it did go off for follows and stuff like that. I'll take off the, what is it, the follow portion for like stream elements, doing it in the chat, because I actually don't really like that it does that. I could see it becoming an issue, especially in the future. That's one of the reasons I don't have it like my follows to have sound alerts and stuff like that on, because follows are going to become more frequent, I guess, as time goes on, right? And if I have it to be a sound alert and there's like a giant raid or something and a bunch of people follow, I don't want it to be just like continuously broken to where the sound alert is just literally not turning off, you know what I mean? So there's that. And then if it's in the chat, well, there's that. I also have to turn it off probably for subs, because again, it'll throw out all in chat like, oh, they did it 10 times. Well, guess what? 10 times it's gonna be spammed. And then I seen the 100 one where it's just like, and then the chat's just, well, it already does that, but then to have it done again with stream elements, that's not the best, right? So I'm gonna turn those off pretty soon, maybe tomorrow. Maybe we should just save that for tomorrow, because I still have to mess with this stream and stuff like I said, and do a bunch of stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys for stopping by. It's just gonna suddenly cut off, so sorry about that as well. And yeah, until next time, peace.